Times LeBron James abandoned his teammates mid-game.
On this team with the Phoenix Suns is there goes LeBron walking off the floor with 5:40 to go.
In a shocking but familiar move, LeBron James walked out on his team during the height of Game 5 of the Western Conference. During the fourth quarter in his game against the Phoenix Suns, James stormed off the court unexpectedly, leaving his team at a loss. It isn't the first time that LeBron has walked off the court in the middle of the game or left his team to fend for themselves. But this is the first time he's done it with so much time still left on the clock. Did this set the wrong tone on his teammates when they needed him most? They mostly played uninspiring basketball the rest of the series. There was still 5 minutes and 44 seconds left in the fourth quarter when he simply walked off the Suns' court. Now many of LeBron's fans and publications are calling James out for walking away from his team at such a critical moment, despite the Lakers being at a 32-point loss. It doesn't look good leaving your teammates out there when you're supposed to be a leader. Although many fans have already forgiven LeBron, the critics still say this is the type of thing that can tarnish his legacy in some degree. Welcome to Lions. Today, we'll be pointing out times that LeBron James has walked away from his team in the past. Before we get into this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. LeBron's decision to walk out on his team really upset a lot of fans and other players alike. The way that he left put a real damper on the end of Game 5, as well as Lakers fans' hopes to reach the finals. It should come as no surprise, however, as just last year LeBron had done the same thing. During Game 3 of the 2020 NBA Finals, LeBron James walked out on his team much in the same way. Although to be fair, there was only 10 seconds left on the clock in addition to his team having been at an 11-point loss. People were still upset then, as it really makes a bad statement coming from the proclaimed king. It can't be denied that it is somewhat immature and non-leader-like to leave your team out there with still time on the clock, 10 seconds or 5 minutes. During the post-game interview, he played it off much in the same way he did this time. Even though LeBron and the Lakers won that series, these characteristics of being the first man to run to the locker room after a tough loss with still time left doesn't leave a good impression on teammates. Even before that though, James was known for abandoning his teammates with time still on the clock. LeBron abandoned his team during the 2018 Finals. LeBron is accused of having not tried during the series of matches. After suffering a crushing loss in the first game against the Golden State Warriors, LeBron apparently gave up on Cleveland. We all remember the J.R. Smith play. The Cavs had a chance to steal a much-needed Game 1, and J.R. simply blew it with his clock on awareness. LeBron had reportedly punched a whiteboard so hard post-game in the locker room that it busted his hand, and he blamed this injury for them losing the next 3 games against the Golden State. Although LeBron had a great series stat-wise, his lack of trust in his teammates and obvious displeasure with J.R. Smith is not a good image for a leader. Many critics called him out at the time, even back then, saying that he simply knew the Warriors were a better team, and so he gave up after Game 1. Next, he became a Laker when the season ended.
We've got breaking news. LeBron is a Laker.
LeBron James is a Los Angeles Laker.
LeBron informed Magic Johnson of his plans to join the Lakers.
Even in the Kings' first year with the Lakers, LeBron was throwing his teammates under the bus. In a post-game interview, LeBron said to reporters, "Basketball, is that the most important thing?" James told reporters after the loss, "Why are we doing this? Is this the most important thing in your life at this time? If you feel you gave it your all, then you have nothing to look back on. You can go on and do other things. But if you feel like you're not giving as much as you can, then you can't focus on anything else." It comes across as LeBron saying his teammates' focus isn't where it was supposed to be. 2019 was a tough year for LeBron. His first year missing the postseason, a great individual statistic year, as usual, but not the one he wanted. Instead of taking responsibility like a leader, LeBron deferred to throwing his teammates under the bus when times got tough. Before that, there was another very notable time that LeBron had given up on his team. This is our 5th example, and although it is not the earliest instance of James being a bad sport, it is a notable one. Game 5 of the 2011 NBA Finals. The stage was set in the final game of the 2011 Finals with LeBron and his all-star team, the Miami Heat, going up against the Dallas Mavericks. LeBron again did not physically walk out on his team this time either, though this is widely regarded as his greatest abandonment of a game. In a game where his presence was the most critical, as his team was facing elimination, he still chose not to take as much of an active role as he usually does. Instead, LeBron repeatedly deferred to his teammates, having barely made any points. This led to the game ending with a score of 103 to 112, leaving Miami and LeBron at a 9-point loss. It was a very hurtful moment for fans, as it was the Game 5 of the finals in addition to LeBron having the home court advantage. Even this was not the first time he had been half-hearted during a game, though people really burned LeBron James for it. Even his former teammate Eddie House was apparently pretty upset at James, as he called him out for the results of the game, saying he was MIA. In 2018, when he had the discussion of LeBron being the greatest of all time came up, Eddie House put his foot down and said he could not accept it. Eddie is quoted as having said in regards to LeBron, "He had a bad series. Jordan never had that. People like James Harden for having a bad series last year, but you going to say everybody who quit in the finals at the end of everything when all the marbles are on the table that he's the greatest of all time? I can't buy it." These are the moments in LeBron's career where he will always face a lot of criticism for. These occurrences do not resemble a great leader. We will see how LeBron bounces back after a tough end to this season. Is this the downfall of the king, or will LeBron win a 5th championship in the near future? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for sports updates and news. See you next time on Lines.